with Kyle Evans. Grow with Kyle Evans.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet. Welcome back to another rousing episode of The G.R.O.W Show. Kyle Evans here to guide your hearts and your minds to the next level. This is your daily checkup from the neck up. Last week, we set the tone. New year, setting the tone, getting our minds right. We went emotional, we went deep, we went psychological. This week, though, we're going to continue building that house for this year, and we're going to focus tactically. We're going to get a little more tactics, a little more action-oriented, a little more direct into our sales business. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm in sales, so I like to talk about it. So I want to ground this, right? I want to ground this with facts before we start touching feelings. One of the things that we're going to focus on first in this tactical week is our pipeline truth. I think it's very important that we focus on our pipeline truth. One of the main reasons that people get out of sales businesses is because they don't have a pipeline. That's just a fact. One of the main reasons people get out of sales is because they don't have a pipeline, meaning they don't have transactions coming. They don't essentially have a business that generates fruits. One of the reasons they don't have a pipeline is they're not lead generating properly or not following up with people properly. Multiple sales studies show that 80 to 90% of sales require 5 or more follow-up touches. 5 or more. At the same time, the juxtaposition here is most salespeople stop after 1 attempt. So we know that one of the main reasons people get out of sales business, out of commission business, is because they don't have a pipeline. And yet the studies and the statistics show that most sales take 5 or more touches, and yet most salespeople are giving up after 1. In fact, one of the things they found is almost 90% of salespeople give up after 3. I'm going to tell you something, and I might hurt some feelings here, and that's okay. It has never been easier to be successful because of that stat right there. Most 90% of your competition is soft. There. I said the inside words outside. Happy Monday, everybody. 90% of your competition will not go the distance. They will give up on the 5-yard line going in to score the touchdown. 90% stop after the 3rd attempt, and we know statistically showing that it takes 5 or more. So when someone tells me that they need better leads, what they're often saying is, I stopped before the mathed. Buckle up, Buttercup. This is Tactical Sales Week. Here we are. I'm not here to hype you up this week. I'm here to close the gap between what you say you want and what, get this, your behaviors can actually support. Today, we're going to take a peek at the pipeline. Guys, a real pipeline, it doesn't just tell you who you're working with. It tells you how often you actually follow up. One of the things the pipeline actually tells you is how long you can tolerate silence, how long you can tolerate someone not answering. It shows how structured your process is. One of the things a pipeline actually tells you when you really track it properly and look at it, it says which discomfort you avoid. Hello. A real good pipeline, real good language today. A real good pipeline answers three main questions. Get this, write these down, tattoo them on your brain. A great pipeline will answer, who am I actively talking to? Who am I actively talking to? What is my actual cadence of follow-up with them? What is my actual cadence of follow-up with them? And the third question is very simple. Who have I quietly deprioritized without deciding to? Who have I quietly deprioritized? Who am I actively talking to? What is my cadence? And who have I actually deprioritized? Most deals don't die from rejection. That's a myth that we use to keep us emotionally feeling good. Most deals don't die from rejection. They die from drift. There's no plan. There's no rhythm. There's no leadership. It's just hope. Just hope. Stretch thin over time. And Lord knows how many times my coaches have said over the years, hope is not a strategy, Kyle. Hope's not a strategy. Today we're getting tactical. Today we're getting into strategy. You've heard this before and you'll hear it again. We need a film room mindset when it comes to our pipeline. Great coaches, great athletes, they don't guess. They watch the film. They don't insult the player or the play. They don't rewrite the past. They observe. When you're looking at your pipeline with a coach's or a top athlete's mindset, watching the film, you need to say, here's where I lost leverage. Oh, dang. Here's where urgency softened. Oh, right there, that's where my follow-up broke down. I don't want you to be self-criticizing. I want you to be respecting yourself and your business. I don't want you to avoid the data. I want you to use it to sharpen you. The audit is not you versus you. It's you standing beside you, demanding to get better. It's telling the truth without emotion, without drama. And yet most people never grow their businesses where they need to because they're not willing to look at the data. They're not willing to slow down and pay attention to where they came from. So one of the things I'm going to implore upon you is not just the foundation of what a pipeline actually is, but it's also taking the time to inspect what you expect. So let's talk about today's work. I want you to open your CRM, your notebook, your spreadsheet, whatever you're using, and think about it in 5 different buckets. This is just an opinion. Don't come for me in the comments on how you do it or how I'm wrong. This is just my opinion. Take it or leave it. Bucket number 1, new leads. Anyone you have contacted within the last 7 to 14 days. I want you to ask yourself, how fast did I respond? How fast did I respond? Again, this isn't in judgment, it's in awareness. How fast did I actually respond? The second question for new leads is, did I schedule a next step or did I leave it open? I see this happen all the time. Did I schedule a next step or did I leave it open? Nobody wants to be told what to do, but everybody wants to be led. Every conversation should end with, this is what happens next. The first question you're supposed to ask is, how fast did I respond? It's because tons of studies show that speed matters. There's a book called The Conversion Code, and in it they talk about, I want to say it was like in the first 5 minutes, after the first 5 minutes, conversion falls off 400%. 400%. After 5 minutes. We live in an instant gratification world. Stop thinking that your clients don't want an answer now. They do. Delay sometimes doesn't feel dangerous, but I got news for you. It is. It is. So new leads, we're going to ask ourselves, how fast am I responding? And did I schedule a next step or did I just leave it open? Speed matters. The second one is, who are your active nurtures? What are the ongoing conversations that we're working with? Maybe they don't have urgency yet, but we're still tilling that field. I want you to ask yourself, what cadence am I running here? What is the cadence? Is it weekly? Is it bi-weekly? For most of us, let's just be honest, it's random. If your cadence isn't written, you don't have a system. You have a suggestion. If your cadence isn't written, it doesn't exist. Inconsistent follow-up doesn't keep relationships warm. It quietly cools them. Susan Scott, Fierce Conversations. Relationships are won and lost by the conversations we are not having. The conversations we are not having. So with our active nurtures, we need to understand, what is my cadence? That's building a systematic business. The third bucket I want you to think about is your hot follow-ups. Heat. These are decisions are pending, right? Like, these are people who are actively doing the thing. If you haven't personally followed up in the last 14 days, it ain't hot. Stop lying to yourself. It ain't hot. See, that's one of the things about this pipeline, is we have to accurately put people in the buckets of their decision-making timeline. That was a choice in words. We have to put people in a timeline that actually matters to what's going on. Your hot follow-ups. If you haven't personally followed up in the last 14 days and you guys aren't talking, it's not hot. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being accurate. Hot is defined by action being taken by both parties, by leadership, not emotional attachment. So we've got new leads, we've got active nurtures, we've got hot follow-ups. We're being honest and transparent and focusing on process with each one. Number 4, guys, past clients. This is the undefeated, undisputed champion of under-leveraged asset. Repeat and referral clients, catch this, convert at 3 to 5 times the higher rate. 3 to 5 times higher than cold leads. And they cost a fraction to acquire. If you are chasing strangers while neglecting the people who already know, like, and trust you, your pipeline is broken. If you are chasing strangers while neglecting the people who already know, like, and trust you, your pipeline is broken. Your priorities are broken. The 5th bucket that I want you to consider here this morning, this Monday morning, is dead leads, cold leads, whatever you want to call them. People you have labeled as not interested. Some people like to say that these are bad leads. My friend Jason Abrams would like to say there's no such thing as a bad lead. You're just at the wrong time. Or maybe you're that cat who's only following up 1 to 3 times and giving up when it takes 5 to 7. Most of these dead leads aren't necessarily disinterested. Maybe they were just undecided when you checked out. When you checked out. Not when they did, when you did. When you didn't work long enough and hard enough to let the math. Dead leads often aren't dead. If you go and study different businesses and different people with ponds, or containers full of leads that are not interested, you will find more often than not that people get brought back from the dead, is what we call it. The truth is they were never dead. They just weren't attended properly. So 5 buckets for you to start considering with your pipeline: new leads, active nurture. Who are my hot follow-ups? Where's my past client pipeline? And then my dead leads. Are they actually dead? The question you need to ask is, did I touch them 5 times, 6 times, 7 times? Are they actually disinterested? It's time to be honest and be clear. You want a better year in 2026? Start acting like a professional instead of amateur. I love you. I mean it. And I love you enough to have the tough conversation, especially when it comes to this. We are salespeople. We are in a business. Act like it. Some of you might feel like this is micromanaging yourself and you got in this business for freedom. If you were the toughest boss that you've ever had, you will never need another one. Now, the question that most people skip: who are you avoiding? Who are you avoiding? Not because they're rude, not because they're impossible, but if we really peeled back the onion layer, we'd probably say it's because they didn't respond fast enough. Maybe they made you feel uncertain. Maybe you don't want to reopen that loop. Avoidance always sounds logical until you actually calculate the cost. Most income, especially in my business, isn't lost. It's abandoned mid-process. It's abandoned in the follow-up. It's abandoned in the pipeline. I truly believe that real estate agents are going to make more money in 2026 and 2027 than they have in decades. Let me rephrase that. Some agents are going to. The ones who treat their business like an actual business. This ain't selling sunset. We got to get out there, get systematic and logical, and do the hard thing. It's that simple, but it's that hard. The only move I think that matters today is if we strip this down. Choose the people. I want you to choose the people. Not leads, people. People. I want you to select 20 names from this pipeline. 20 names. New leads, active leads, past clients, hot leads, dead leads. Choose 20 names. I want you to choose to lead these people this week. If you don't choose them, inertia will. When you're looking at this list of 20, decide the rhythm. Decide what actual bucket they belong in. Be honest and transparent. Every single relationship, business or personal, demands a cadence. I want you to understand very clearly, silence is still a message. Silence is still a message. For each of these 20 names, I want you to decide, when is the next touch? When is the next touch? What will we talk about? What will I contribute to their life? And then when is the next touch after that? When is the next touch? What will we talk about? What will I actually contribute to their life? And then when is the next touch after that? Those 4 things for each of these 20 names. When is the next touch? What will we actually talk about? What will I contribute to their life? When is the next touch after that? If it's not scheduled, it ain't real. Professionals don't hope, they calendar. This isn't about guilt or about spin, but I got news for you. Your pipeline is not a reflection of what you want. Your pipeline is a reflection of what you're actually willing to do, what your behaviors are doing. Own it. The moment we stop lying to ourselves, our pipeline stops lying too. This week ain't going to be about motivation. It's going to be about mechanics. I want you to understand a mislabel that people fall for. Sales is not about convincing. It's about clarifying. The best salespeople simply clarify. They don't deal in ambiguity. They deal in clarity. And clarity starts with truth. Tomorrow, we're going to move to the first 60 seconds, how to open a conversation, how to earn permission. We're going to talk about how confidence leaks before deals even start. But that's tomorrow. Today, you clean the pipeline. Today, you name your 20. Today, you stop guessing. Tomorrow, we build. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, happy Monday. Let's go get it this week. Onward.
Grow with Kyle Evans.